Space Shuttle Discovery, returning to the space station, paving the way for future missions.
On July 6, 2015, we released this spectacular image of Earth taken by NASA's EPIC camera.
There's overwhelming proof that it didn't happen.
So you believe you couldn't possibly land on it because it's not solid?
Absolutely not.
Just ignore me, delete me, move on with your life. Why are you getting upset? We're not spinning, and I'm not on a ball. That I know. That I know as a fact. Shit, like, this is huge. Like, the whole world is being lied to. I mean, this is humongous.
Wow, okay.
Yeah,
What would have happened if your wife and man had gone,
I'd dread to think. My friends unfriended me, deleted me, we're not going to talk to you anymore, you've gone crazy. I haven't spoken to my dad in over a year because of it.
really?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
What are NASA getting out of it by pretending?
So
What is it? What are they hiding?
I guess the best place to start with this video is about conspiracy theories, because this, I suppose, is how this video was meant to begin. Do you reckon? Meant to?
I guess, yeah.
So, Zoe and I listen to a ton of podcasts, me and my girlfriend. When we're going to bed every single night, we listen to a podcast. Or if we've got long car journeys, usually that will be a podcast called The Mile Higher, which is an amazing conspiracy theory podcast. It's a couple from America. I'm pretty sure they just sit in their living room with a microphone in between them and they just research a different conspiracy, whether that's the JFK, whether that's the moon landing, whether that's the Titanic. I listened to one on the other day. Morgan and I sat down and we came up with the idea that we wanted to chat with somebody in detail, like a really nice sit down, almost shot like a video podcast, a sit down chat with somebody that is 100% adamant that the moon landing was a hoax, was fake, that it didn't happen. I've looked into it a little bit, but I haven't dedicated my life into the moon landing, so I don't know everything. So we just wanted to sit down with somebody and chat about, there is some weird footage that might prove that the bits of it are fake or this. We don't know. I just wanted to chat with somebody about it. So we found this guy online called Martin Kenny. So we reached out to him. We wanted to sit down and chat, obviously. This is where things got a bit weird and took a turn that I was not expecting. And that's why this video is shot like this, and it's not a sit down video with Martin that we were meant to be doing. So let me read some of our emails, because I've been emailing him a lot over the last week. So I say, hello Martin, thanks for sending over your email address. I'm looking forward to sit down and chat with you about the moon landing conspiracy. I've seen you speak publicly about how you believe the moon landing is not real, which is why I'm getting in touch. Would you be up for coming to Brighton or London to record a 30-minute to 1 hour chat about the topic? Are you free on Monday? Looking forward to hearing back from you. Martin replies with the email, I don't know how he's done this, his email changes to Flat Earth Universe. That's a whole nother realm, the Flat Earth conspiracy. Hi Alfie, thank you for connecting and inviting me to participate in your project. However, I'm sure you can appreciate that obviously I need to know a bit more information, and I was like, yeah, hey, really sorry, didn't even tell you anything about me, who I work for, what I do, what videos I make, whether I'm just gonna try and prove you fake that it is real or... So we go back and forth emailing, and it turns out they were both free on Thursday, which is today. He's gonna come to Brighton, we're gonna shoot this video. He then emails me, and I'm going to ask if I can put this on the screen. Hello Alfie, ... Here's a counter offer, ... Why don't you come film/interview me in my house here? I've dedicated an entire room and built a full-size flat earth planetarium. Perhaps this could be an opportunity for you to present/discuss an alternative cosmology with your audience. We could discuss space, aliens, and not just the moon hoax, but the global hoax at large. Bro, what does he mean by the global hoax?
Absolutely no idea. Is that lizard people?
I have no idea. I don't know if I want to get into this, but I do want to get into this. I want to find out what the global hoax, what is the global hoax? It doesn't have to be full on, just a light-hearted conversation about something totally different with a little shock value and somewhat controversial. Are you up for the challenge? He can't end it if you're up for the challenge and not expect me to say yes, can he? It's like he's teasing us at the end. So I put, hello Martin, sorry for the slow reply. Hope you had a good weekend. I was only expecting to be chatting about the moon landing, but this could be a far bigger chat than what I was thinking. Would it be possible for me and my friend Morgan, who helps with filming my videos, to come and see your dedicated room and chat about this on Thursday? I'm keen to make this happen. He basically says yes and sends me his address. And today's Thursday, and we're travelling like 3 hours to his house. Now I've got a couple of questions that I just want to throw out there and put out before we get going, which we have got to leave in a minute because the train is like real soon. Number one, I just want to start off, obviously, as everybody has on the internet, I've been watching Shane's documentaries and series recently. This is not me trying to make a Shane series documentary. This, like, as you've seen from the emails, is legit. I was meant to be filming a sit-down video with Martin chatting about the moon landing. Is it weird that we're even going to a stranger's house? Like, I don't know who this guy might not even be who he is.
That is a little weird.
Is that weird?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know whether I mean, it's too late, I was going to say, I don't know whether we should bring security, like, just like somebody with us. I don't know whether, bro.
I don't think that, I don't know. I honestly don't know, actually.
I'm not saying he's a weird guy. I'm sure he's the most lovely guy. I'm just saying we haven't even spoken to him on the phone. I think I want to know so much more than, like, how do you get into the mindset where you believe that the Earth is flat?
There must be a ton of things that he doesn't believe in.
That there's a global hoax. What is a global hoax?
That's like Illuminati, right? Like the global elite.
The global hoax.
Maybe he thinks you're part of the Illuminati. And
That's why he's invited us down. The global,
and he's going to capture you.
Bro, I just googled it. The global hoax, how the global warming conspiracy threatens us. So he doesn't believe in global warming. The last thing I want to do with this video is insult anybody's beliefs. That's not what we're here to do. I'm not here to prove Martin right. I'm not here to prove Martin wrong. I'm not here to argue with him. I don't know enough. I purely want to make this video to reach into his brain and find out more. Because I have no idea what any of this is. Does he have a family? Like, this sounds so harsh, but with such strong beliefs on topics that are traditionally so normal to accept, like the Earth being round. He believes it's flat. Like, he's got a dedicated room in his house, so therefore his partner, his kids must believe the same. If he's got a partner or kids, I don't know.
Surely he will have spoken to them about it.
Does his boyfriend or girlfriend believe the same thing? Because imagine if you didn't, and they're like, why has our spare bedroom got a cosmology flat Earth planetarium?
I feel like that's a bit too much.
What if your girlfriend just wanted to do that?
Yeah, I feel like that's a bit too much if you just don't agree with it. You wouldn't agree to that, surely.
Does he have a job? Is this his job? Does he make money from this? I guess the main thing for me is, like, how do you get to this point? What has he experienced that we haven't experienced that makes him 100% adamant that the Earth is flat? But not only that, the other things are all... He must have experienced something crazy to make him be this way.
It's either that or it's the people that he
hangs around with.
Do you
reckon they're going to be there?
If they all believe, I don't know. But if they all believe...
today?
He could have invited them.
We could get there and there's 6 of his friends who are all like, the Earth's flat. 4% of 18 to 14-year-olds believe the Earth is flat. 84% of Americans believe the Earth is round. So 16% of Americans don't believe the Earth is round.
That's millions and millions and millions.
16%. That is 56 million people in America believe that the Earth isn't round.
That's a lot of people.
What is going on that we don't know? Let's go find out. This video could literally be one video, it could be 3 videos, it could be an hour long, it could be, like, I don't know where the conversation is going to go. And I think this is the most important thing to stress, is like, this wasn't meant to happen. Again, we were meant to be having a sit-down chat about the moon conspiracy, which I still for sure want to chat to him about. But now we've thrown in the flat Earth, the global hoax, climate change isn't real. It's real to him.
Maybe it'll be real to us.
The Earth?
We could ask him that.
Man. Okay. Alright, let's go get the train. Have we missed the train already?
I think we might have. It's in... What time was it?
train is in like 8 minutes, and we don't live 8 minutes away.
Thank you.
Amazing. Thanks so much. I've already lost my ticket. Wait. Hey.
The classic lost your ticket and it's actually just in your wallet where you left it.
We've just bought so much snacks on this train. Got coffee, which I'm a bit worried about because I haven't eaten yet. We all know what happens when people, maybe not everyone. Water, chicken, bacon, avocado. And then I bought this before we bought this because I didn't think we had time to buy this. So now I've got this. I'll eat both. The closer we're getting to Martin's house, the more questions I've got that I want to know the answers to. And the main one is, like, does he actually believe this is real? I feel like I feel so harsh saying that.
Yeah, but that's fair enough.
But some people do believe things where there's no evidence.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I've got no evidence that it's round, personally, for me. I've never ever experienced first-hand Earth being round.
Yeah, that's what I said.
So I've never experienced that, and I believe that. So maybe he doesn't need evidence because I don't have any evidence.
Have you been to space and have you been to space and seen the round Earth? You haven't, have you?
No, I've never
How
been.
do you know that?
Yeah, I've never been to space and seen that the Earth is round.
So how do you know? What are you going off? You're just going off what other people have told you.
Imagine if we get there today and he literally shows us the craziest stuff, and I'm like, bro, this is real.
Yeah.
I now believe that this is real.
I'm just not.
rolling now?
Yeah, I'm not gonna
Well, you're just gonna
stop.
roll the whole day?
Yeah. You're just gonna have like.
How are you feeling about this? What are you saying?
I just don't believe any of it.
You don't believe any of it? Okay, but let me put it this way. Why do you believe the Earth is round? Have you got any evidence yourself? What evidence do you have?
Looking out on aeroplane window.
No, you can't see the Earth is curved from an airplane window.
Yeah. He's lost. You left it on the train. No, there's one in there. Did you actually leave? No, there's one at the back.
Hey. Yo, I need a wee quite bad. I don't know if I actually do need a wee.
Yeah,
I don't normally get nervous with things. I never get nervous.
But I think this is just something that you've never done. Who does this?
Amazing, thank you. You ready?
Alfie, how you doing, man? You
Good?
Yeah, come in. This is Ruby.
Hiya.
Martin.
Morgan.
Morgan, nice to meet you, Morgan.
Hiya.
How's it going?
Did you guys find it alright?
Yeah,
Yeah.
all good.
Yeah.
All good. Super easy to get here. I think the best thing for us would be to like sit down somewhere.
Yeah.
Have a chat about how everything started, all of that. If that's
do
cool
that.
with you.
Let's do that. Just push that off. Okay. Yeah, we can do that. Come through. Sorry,
Should I
guys.
take shoes off?
No, it's alright.
You sure?
Come on. Yeah. Sorry, it's a bit of a mess. We're trying to
don't mind.
move things about. Can I get you anything to drink?
I'm all good, man.
I'm all right at the moment, yeah.
Tea.
We just had coffee and everything on the train, yeah.
Yeah. Sit down.
The last thing I want to do that I'm the most cautious of with this
Yeah.
is saying anything that's going to like insult you.
Okay.
Because I can imagine you have people that are trying to prove you wrong a lot.
Yeah.
Obviously when we first got in touch, it was just straight about moon landing conspiracy.
Yeah.
And that's something that I've always been interested in. I listen to a lot of podcasts on that kind of thing. And then obviously you're like, oh, we've got a dedicated room on the flat earth and stuff like that. And that's a whole nother topic that I've been interested in. So I'm up for discussing everything.
Yeah.
I just want to know, how did it all begin? How did you have you always believed it since you were younger?
No.
Was there any point when you did believe the Earth was
No.
round, or
Yes.
how did it all begin? Let us know.
Well, first of all, I won't be offended by anything you say.
Okay.
You know, I'm all about questioning.
Perfect.
Everything should be questioned. Nothing should be off the table.
Yeah.
For me, it began about 2.5 years ago. Up until 2.5 years ago, I was just a normal bloke. I had a job, a career.
Yeah.
I had dreams of getting a big house, big car.
Yeah.
The normal thing that we all do. And then about July 2016.
Wow, quite recent.
Recently, yeah. I had, I don't know if you want to call it a mental breakdown or
Yeah.
if it was a midlife crisis, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I just started questioning life. Like, why are we here? What is the meaning of all this?
Yeah.
The world is just so messed up. Like, what is going on? You know? And nothing really made sense. And I found myself questioning myself and the world and everything else. So one day I was on the internet, on YouTube, just browsing, looking for anything just to, you know, buy a bit of time,
Yeah.
if you like. And I was already quite interested in conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
So like ancient aliens and
Yeah.
that sort of thing. You know, always
I've never
intrigued
looked
me.
into that. I've looked into lots of like. I just want to put another camera. Just so, is that cool?
Yeah, of course.
Just as, perfect.
I came across, I was watching some ancient alien conspiracy theory video, you know, just...
Yeah.
And then I saw at the bottom a flat earth, you know. Man claims earth is flat. And I thought, what? This is ridiculous. This is the most stupid thing I've ever seen. The earth is not flat. But just for a laugh, I'm going to click on it and just see what
it's
this crazy...
about.
Yeah, this crazy guy thinks. You know, like we all do. We scoff.
Yeah.
So I clicked on it, and there was a guy called Dave Murphy. He was actually on national TV in Macedonia, presenting his flat earth science. So I'm listening, and I'm scoffing, and I was eating something at the time, and I was just having a laugh, and all of a sudden, about 15 minutes in, I stopped laughing, and I put my plate down. I started listening and thinking, this guy's making sense. A lot of what he's saying actually makes sense. You know, I've never thought about that before. I've never
What was
thought
he
about
saying?
that. Well, basically, I was talking about how there is no experiment to ever prove that there is curvature.
Yeah.
You know, there's no curvature. Water doesn't bend. Water always seeks to find its level. Aeroplanes don't dip their nose to make up for the gradient curve of the so-called Earth. The Earth is supposed to be curving at 8 inches per mile squared, and yet planes fly on a plane straight. They don't, you know,
Yeah.
nose dip. So all kinds of things, the gyroscope,
Yeah.
and all kinds of science around that. And I thought this is actually quite an intelligent argument this guy's presenting. So like most flat earthers, I said I'm going to debunk him. I'm going to prove that he's wrong.
Is that how it starts for most people?
Most
Trying to
people,
prove-
yeah.
Because this is what I literally just said a minute ago to the camera. I was like, I wonder whether you ever sat down at early stages, had a discussion like this, to be interested, tried to prove them wrong, and then was like, oh shit.
Yeah. Yeah, so that happened, but on my own.
But on video, yeah.
On video, yeah. So I went on the internet, because I realised, first of all, I knew nothing about the ball earth that I was defending.
Yeah.
So I didn't know how big it was, I didn't know how many times we're spinning, are we spinning,
Yeah.
how far away is the sun, how far away is the moon. And this guy, who's a flat earther, knew all of this. He was saying the earth is 24,000 square miles in circumference, it curves at 8 inches per mile square, the sun is supposed to be 93 million miles away in deep dark space, the moon is 338,000 miles away. So he knew all these figures, these
Yeah.
facts about the flat earth. And I thought, I don't know anything about where I live.
This is what we were just saying now on the train. Me and Morgan were sat down, and I'm like, I personally believe the Earth is round.
Yep.
I can't prove that. Like, I've never thought about looking into
Yeah.
proving that it's round.
Absolutely. And that's what happens. So when you start school at the age of 5, you're taken into
Yeah.
a classroom, you're told this is where you live. You live on this ball, it's spinning. And I'm guaranteeing if I took you back to when you were 5 and you were told that, and I asked you, what do you think about this? At 5 years old, you probably would have gone, that doesn't make sense. Why don't you fall off the ball?
Yeah.
Like, you know, are we spinning?
Yeah.
Like, if we're spinning, how come we don't feel any motion?
Yeah.
And your teacher would have said, oh, no, scientists, someone
Yeah.
in the science world has figured it out.
Right, yeah.
Someone knows about it. Just believe what we're telling you,
Yeah.
right? And then you go, okay, they're teachers, right? It's the science community, it's NASA, it's the government. They know everything, so it must be true. But none of us have ever verified it. None of us, right? We just believe it. Then you grow up,
You see it on TV and movies, the spinning ball. You go to school, you learn
Yeah,
about
you
it.
have one of those globes at home where you like spin it and point to the countries.
So it's brainwashing, it's mind control, it's in your mind. So when you become an adult and someone says, what if it's not?
But would you
Your
say it's accidental brainwashing?
Possibly, yes.
My mum's not knowing the earth is flat, trying to tell me it's round.
Absolutely. It's conditioning. I'm not saying the teachers are all in it. I'm not even saying everyone at NASA's in it.
Yeah.
Right? It doesn't have to be this huge conspiracy where every single adult was in this conspiracy.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. It can only be a handful of people. A lot of people don't know this, but in the entire history of humankind, only 24 people have been beyond low Earth orbit. Only 24 people have seen the whole ball spinning from distance. So it might
Have you ever spoken with one of them?
I haven't. So these would be, astronauts who went.
Yeah.
And these 24 people did this, by the way, during the so-called moon landings.
Yeah.
That's the only time anyone's gone beyond low Earth orbit. So if you disprove that those moon landings happened, technically no one has ever seen the entire ball Earth spinning from distance, right? And that in itself should make people go, what the hell? That's crazy, right? It wasn't until 1931, right? About 100 years ago.
Yeah.
Only 100 years ago. So not that long ago, the first man, a guy called Auguste Piccard, who was a Swiss scientist. He built a blimp and he went up into high altitude. I think it was 15 or 20,000 feet off the Earth.
Yeah. So lower than an aeroplane?
No, miles, sorry.
Oh, miles, okay.
Off the Earth. And that was the first time anyone had gone that high. And if you Google Auguste Piccard and see what he said when he came back, his report, this is a scientist, by the way, the first scientist to go that high up, he said the Earth looked like a pancake with upturned edges. That's what he said. Those were his words. That's on Wikipedia, that's everywhere. That's a mainstream scientist. A few months later, he was retired. No one ever heard of him. That was the end of him. I think most people now know that politics is not quite what it looks like. Presidents...
So you're saying like Trump's in on this, Obama's in on this?
Absolutely. Well,
or is it above them and they don't even know?
I think it's above them, but I think they do know when they become presidents. They're told, they're briefed.
Because I've heard that there's 35 tiers above presidency in America.
Absolutely. And in the world. So a lot of conspiracy theorists, of course it's conspiracy theory, but there's enough proof to prove it, that the world is secretly run by a few handful of families. Right? So there are families that go back to Roman times. Right? We all think back to the Roman times and we say Caesar and his family ran the world. Right? The empire. The Roman Empire was run by this family. And that was a long time ago. That ended with democracy. Well, a lot of people are starting to realize that maybe it didn't. Maybe Caesar and the people that were running the world back then are still running the world under different names. Their families, that is, obviously. Right? They've kept all these secrets within the families, right? And they've continued running the world. They run the banking system. They run all mainstream media. They run anything to do with mainstream is all run by a handful of human beings on Earth. We all say the UK is in debt. The world is in debt. In debt to who? Who are we all in debt to? Makes no sense.
So this is like Illuminati shit.
Absolutely.
Because I spoke with somebody yesterday, a friend of mine that I work with, and I told her, she said, "Oh, what are you up to this week?" And I said, "Oh, tomorrow I'm coming down to meet yourself, and we're going to chat about moon landing conspiracy, flat Earth." And she just super casually is like, "Oh, my brother believes in flat Earth."
Yeah.
I'm like, "Oh, really?" She's like, "Yeah." As if it was like a
Normal
thing to believe. Which to me, in my friends and my circles that I'm within, I don't know anybody that believes in the flat Earth conspiracy.
And that's how
she was like super casual about that.
Yeah, and that's how it starts. I mean, it's one of those things that...
Is it growing?
Massively. It's the number... In fact, Google has said it's the #1 trending topic in the world on the internet for the last 2 years running consecutively.
What, the flat Earth?
The flat Earth, yeah. And Google has recently announced the need to censor fake news like flat Earth. Why do you need to censor it? What are you hiding?
My video's going to be taken down.
Right? No, they wouldn't. But what they were saying is they're putting algorithms where if there's a flat Earth title, the YouTube algorithms will redirect it somewhere else. So they don't want people clicking on flat Earth information. But why? What are you hiding? What are you afraid of?
I'm going to have to spell flat Earth in the title of my video so that people still find it.
Well, maybe
title the video in a negative way,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So say crazy flat earther, crazy guy thinks Earth is flat.
Yeah.
And
And then
that
they'll
way-
push it. They'll be like,
Yeah, and then people will watch it.
Let's go back. It's 2016.
Yep.
You've watched this video.
Yep.
You're like, okay, this guy's got something here. What do you do next?
So I went, and the first thing I did was just Google it. Googled flat Earth. Like, is this even a thing, or is this just some random guy was crazy?
Yeah.
And of course, all these articles came up. I was like, whoa. A lot of them were negative. So I started reading them, because the first ones you see are always the ones disproving the flat Earth.
Yeah. So that's what you set out to do.
Yeah, that's what I set out to do.
Yeah.
So I was reading them, I was like, yeah, oh, definitely, that makes sense. Yeah, definitely, yeah, it's a ball, okay, yeah, no. And I thought, well, I haven't heard the other side of the coin. What do flat earthers say? So I clicked on, the more positive, the pro flat earthers. A guy called Eric DeBay who wrote a book and has done a video, 200 Proofs Earth's Not a Ball. So I clicked on his, I watched that, and 2 hours later I was like, oh my God, right, this makes more sense than any of the Globe Earth stuff that I've been told. There are more questions here. Then I went to another guy called ODD TV, who was one of the first big flat earth researchers. So I went onto his channel. He's got a big following, millions of people. Clicked on it. I watched all his videos and I thought, oh my word, it got into the Illuminati, how far it goes, the creation of NASA, how NASA was created by a guy called von Braun, who was a Nazi, how it was all associated with Disney World. So Disney World and NASA collaborated to create NASA, basically. A lot of people don't know that. So I looked into all of this and I thought, this is crazy. Like, the rabbit hole is so deep. So eventually led me on to other...
Surely when you're
other
in this
people.
bubble, is it not hard to know what's like believable and like, okay, the earth is flat, but then people just start attaching other things that they want to be attached to it?
Yeah, so what I did
Like,
was...
how far does it go where you're like, okay, I get what you're saying, but I need to take all of it with a pinch of salt. I don't want to believe all of it.
Brilliant point. And you're right, because there are a lot of flat earthers who are very religious, because the Bible says the earth is flat. So they use the flat earth to say, well, the Bible's 100% real then.
Yeah.
You all need to become Christians.
Yeah.
The Quran also says the earth is flat. So you got Muslims saying, well, you need to be a Muslim.
Yeah.
Look, if you now know the earth is flat, the Quran says it's flat, you must be a Muslim.
Yeah.
So a lot of people do that, and then they add their own things onto it to propagate their own ideas and beliefs.
Yeah.
So I said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to kick belief out the system. I don't want to believe anything anymore. I want to go with only what I know, what I can prove. So the first thing I said to myself, right now, where I am in this reality, do I feel like I'm spinning? No, I don't feel like I'm spinning. I'm told I'm spinning,
Yeah.
but I myself have never seen, with my own eyes, the spinning ball Earth. I've never felt motion of the Earth unless there's an earthquake.
Yeah.
So I'm going to assume, because this is my reality, I'm not spinning. I never feel like I'm upside down, so I'm going to assume I'm never upside down. I've never seen water bending in anywhere in nature. I've never seen water bend. Water always seeks to find its level.
Yeah.
So I'm going to assume, because that's my reality,
Yeah.
that is the truth.
How far do you go though? So, do you take paracetamol?
No,
You don't take that.
I don't know.
Do you take any medication?
I try not to.
Yeah.
I try
'Cause
not to.
like in my brain, I'm like, okay, if I'm not believing anything unless I can prove it, do I then, if I needed a brain surgery, not get it because I
No.
can't prove they're going to do it right?
No, that's becoming extreme.
But they might
No.
not do that correctly.
No, absolutely not. And you're right in saying that there's a danger in, there are a lot of conspiracy theories who get lost in that world of conspiracy theories. And they become a little bit crazy and delusional. And they're like, everything's a lie, pharmaceutical companies are poisoning us. And it just becomes crazy. So there has to be a level of maturity and understanding and calmness.
Yeah.
And saying, look, it's not about overreacting. I just want to know the truth. And if there are things that I can do to change my life, I will.
Yeah.
But there are some things that are out of my control.
So when you say you want to know the truth,
Yeah.
2 questions. Do you think you found the truth? Do you think you will ever find out the truth?
I can't say I found the conclusive truth, because then I've become a cult or religion.
Yeah.
Right? Truth doesn't belong to anyone. The important thing is that I'm asking questions. I'm not believing things blindly.
Yeah.
I don't believe religion. I don't believe in science. I don't believe in anything. Right? I question everything with an open mind and a critical eye. I'm open to anything. and I come to my own conclusions based on my own observations and research and reality. So as far as I'm concerned, after 2 years, my truth says I'm not spinning, I'm not on a ball, the earth is flat and motionless. That is my truth. If I'm proven wrong, I'll change my mind.
Okay.
If new evidence comes along,
and how far does it go though? So like, say we go to space tomorrow.
Yep.
New pictures of the Earth being round.
Yep.
Are you still like, no, my eyeballs didn't see that?
Absolutely, because it's all CGI.
So it has to be you.
I mean, you watch a movie. We've seen movies of space.
For sure. No, of course.
Right.
But at what point?
Well, I was on.
At what point do you believe something? I suppose then.
So I think a really good one would be if.
How could I prove, if I could, that the Earth is round without flying you to space?
Okay, here's a good one, which is a challenge I've put out to NASA when I was on ITV the first time.
Yeah.
To NASA, all the space agencies, I said, just do one thing.
Yeah.
Turn the Hubble telescope around.
Yeah.
That's in deep dark space. Face it on Earth.
Yeah.
The Earth. Show us the Earth spinning.
But that can still be edited.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
Show us aeroplanes flying underneath. Zoom in to an aeroplane flying underneath the ball. Zoom in to people walking upside down. From distance. Then I'll start thinking, hang on a minute, okay, maybe I can believe it. And if that looks realistic and you can zoom into someone walking upside down, I'll start saying, okay, maybe I'm wrong here. But I guarantee you they won't, because the moment they...
Well, I don't even know if the lenses can do that.
Well, we can zoom in to the moon, 238,000 miles away. We've got technology to go to these places. We've got technology to catch light billions of miles away. Why can't we just go 100,000...
Take a big selfie.
Yeah, take a big selfie. Absolutely.
Of everybody in
Absolutely.
But there is pictures of the Earth.
All CGI. And NASA's
Do they
admitted.
admit that every picture is CGI?
There's a guy called Robert Simmons.
But is this one person that's left NASA?
No, he works for
Or
NASA.
is this... I just need to turn this one back on. He still works for NASA now?
Well, he was working when he did this interview. He was working for NASA at the time, and he basically said that it's all CGI composite because we take pictures of the Earth in sections.
Yeah, they take like 300 pictures and put
and
them
then we
together
stitch
into
them
one.
together into one. So I'm saying, why can't we just take a photograph?
Yeah, I think it would just be. I mean, I'm not that.
If we can go out into deep dark space, why can't we just turn it around and take a photograph? If I can have a P900 camera, and I can zoom into the moon quite closely and take a photograph, and if we've got technology to go to the moon, why can't we put
so do you believe the moon's there?
Absolutely, of course it is.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a physical object. It looks just like a luminary, a light.
Oh wow! So you don't. Okay, you don't.
I can't say it's a physical object. For me, it looks like a luminary, a light, just like the sun. They used to like lights in the sky.
But is the sun not an object?
It looks like a luminary, a light. It looks like a light. I don't know what kind of light it is, but as far as I'm concerned, it's just a light. It looks, and if you go into the science, I think it's an electromagnetic pulse of light. It's electromagnetism. It's not a physical body like science tells us, and neither is the moon, I think.
Okay, so 2016, you find this video whilst eating your lunch.
Yep.
You start searching into it afterwards.
Yep.
Start questioning everything.
Yep.
About everything. Decide to be much more
conscious,
much more thorough about everything that you're believing in, everything you're seeing.
Yep.
And everything that you're being told.
Yep.
How does it go from there to having the flat Earth, the room next door?
Yeah.
But also, at what point, a partner? Do you have a partner at all?
A wife, 2 kids, dog.
What do they think? What do friends think? Do you lose friends over people thinking, "Well, man,
family.
like, you're not the same anymore"? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't want to insult. I'm just questioning.
You're right. Yeah, you're right. So after 2 weeks of looking into this,
are you still working at this point, like a normal job?
I had taken 2 weeks. I was on holiday. I had taken 2 weeks off
to research this.
To research this, pretty much. Yeah.
Wow.
It just seems so important to me. Like, if this is true, the world is, I need to get to the bottom of this.
Yeah.
And move on with my life.
And have you always been very obsessive into things? Has there been anything before this? Have you ever gone?
Nah.
I don't know. I'm trying to think of something off the top of my head. Start looking at magic tricks and then becoming obsessed with magic, or
no.
Do you know what I mean? Have you ever
not
had anything like this in your life?
Not like that.
gone obsessed with it.
Not in this way. I've always had a feeling from a young age that something wasn't quite right. I always had this feeling that, this world, something's weird about this place, about everything. I grew up in a Christian family, and I always thought, this whole Christian stuff.
So you grew up religious?
Very religious, yeah. My grandmother had a church, actually.
Wow.
She was, so a family of pastors and preachers. And I always just thought, something's not quite right about this. There are a lot of good things, but there's a lot of things that just not, And then I found, I became an atheist when I left home. And I found science. But still, I just thought something's not.
And believed in NASA and the moon.
Massively, yeah.
Looking into space,
when my son was born in the hospital, the first thing I said to him was, "You're going to be an astronaut when you grow up. That is what I want you to be. I want you to be an astronaut."
I bet you bloody want him to be one now. Yeah, to prove that the Earth is flat.
Right. So I was massively into science.
Yeah.
Hugely into science.
Interesting.
So this is why this was such a big thing for me. Like this confused me. Like, hang on a minute. So, cut a long story short, the moment I realized that nothing is what it seems, I quit my job. I phoned in, I said, I'm quitting I quit my job, yeah. I said, I'm not coming into work anymore. I had a small business I was running at the time, a book publishing business from home. I knocked that on the head. I said, I'm going to stop this.
And what's your wife saying at this point?
So
she's like ringing back up your boss, like, no, he's coming in tomorrow, don't worry.
By the way, at the same time, I found veganism. So Flat Earth led me into veganism because I thought, well, what else is a lie? So then I went into veganism. I was like, oh my God, meat and then all that. And I became a vegan.
Are you vegan now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I became a vegan and a Flat Earther overnight. Quit my job. Sat down with my wife.
Within how long of finding this video?
This was about a couple of weeks, 2 weeks.
2 weeks?
2 weeks.
You quit your job?
But I'm saying 2 weeks of intensive, like everyday obsessive. Like, I couldn't sleep. I just needed to oh my God, I need to get to the bottom of this. Like, it just ate away at me. And every Flat Earther will tell you that. Something triggers in you and you go, shit, this is huge. Like, the whole world is being lied to. I mean, this is humongous. And all these questions, if it is flat, is there an edge? Does it go on forever? Who's in on this? All these questions. So you just get this hunger to want to know the truth.
Yeah.
So, cut long story short, I sat my wife down and I said, look, this is what's happened. She'd seen me going through this over the few weeks.
Yeah.
And she was obviously worried, what the hell's going on?
Yeah.
So I said, I'll explain to you when I've gotten to the bottom of this.
But you're never going to get to the bottom.
Well, when I've gotten to a stage where
you can talk to
explain,
her.
and at least reasonably and logically, because right now I'm not in the right frame of mind. I'm extremely confused. But once the dust had settled and I had found at least a little bit of logical common sense, a logical and commonsensical way of explaining it.
Yeah.
That's when I sat it down. And I said, the earth could be flat, I think, and I need to look into this. I know I'm definitely going to become a vegan. I'm going to stop eating meat. That I knew straight away. So I said I'm going to become a vegan.
And are those two frequently linked?
Not often, no.
Okay.
No. But it did for me, for whatever reasons.
Yeah.
And she sort of went, oh shit, wow, okay. I didn't see this coming, but we've got bills to pay. But are you okay? And I said, no, I'm fine. So I decided to look for a job that I was happy, because at the time I was working in the hospitality industry.
Yeah.
And I wasn't really happy in that anyway. So I thought I'm going to look for a job where I'm at least helping people. I need to be doing good for the world now, because obviously the world's not what it is.
Yeah.
So I found a job in charity. I'm working for a charity, a homeless rehabilitation center.
Nice.
So that's where I work now. And I work 3-4 days a week. So semi-part-time, and I do other bits in between if we need extra money. And I do full-time research. So for the last 2 years, I've been doing this full-time, researching geocentric science, astrology, anything to do with cosmology.
And do you ever turn around, or did your wife ever turn around and go, are you the right person to do this?
No, my wife is fantastic. She got it straight away. So I explained it to her. She was like, all right, send me some links. Let me have a look. It kind of makes sense.
And what does she think?
Yeah, she's a flat earther. She's a vegan. We all are. My kids, if you meet my kids
Your
today,
kids believe that the earth is flat as well?
They go around and they tell their friends at school, you're not a monkey person on the spinning ball, mate.
No, they don't.
Yeah, of course they do. Yeah, absolutely.
And, wow, okay.
Yeah.
What would have happened if your wife had turned around and gone,
I dread to think.
Come on, what are you doing?
It might not have worked. A lot of relationships have ended because of it. I've got friends who...
Because of 2 weeks
Yeah.
of research?
Well, some people it's months, some people it's
Yeah,
years.
yeah.
But for
But
me...
if she turned around at that time and was like...
It probably wouldn't have happened in 2 weeks, but
Yeah,
over
yeah.
time...
Yeah, it would have been difficult.
It would have, there would have been a rift and...
So you couldn't live now with somebody, relationship-wise, somebody that
No.
believes the earth is round?
I could live with them, but it would be very difficult because I'm a researcher. That's what I do, full time.
Yeah.
That's my world. So eventually they'll get sick of it, and they wouldn't want to be around me.
Yeah.
But you're right in what you're saying. All my friends, and maybe it's a mistake at the time. Maybe it was too soon. But when I came across this, and I was sure that it's not a spinning ball, right? I was 100% sure that we're not on a spinning ball. I wasn't sure if it's flat or how far it goes or what it looks like. I still don't know. Right? I've got my theories, but I don't know factually. But what I do know for a fact is that we're not spinning, and I'm not on a ball. That I know. That I know is a fact.
Yeah, we'll get to how in a minute. We'll get to all those questions.
Everything else is theory, but
we'll go in your other room in a minute. We'll get to that.
So I went on social media, on Facebook, and I said, the earth is flat, everyone, we've been lied to.
You started shouting about it?
Yeah, I started shouting about it. And of course, the backlash. All my friends and family all went, you idiot, you stupid, what's wrong with you? That, the usual.
Yeah.
I got mocked, I got attacked,
Really?
I got ridiculed. My friends unfriended me, deleted me, we're not going to talk to you anymore, you've gone crazy.
But is it that big a thing? Like,
I didn't think so at the time.
if I understand if your partner
Yeah.
you live with had an obsession with it and it was their job and they spoke about it all the time and you don't have that in common. But if I don't know, Morgan behind the camera was I believe the earth is flat, I'd be like, that's cool. We just, unless every time we hang out you're going to chat to me about and try and prove me wrong, which I'm maybe not interested in.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know how that could affect a friendship that much.
I think it's because, again, a lot of people have a vested personal interest in the ball earth. Especially my generation. Your generation, not so much, because you've grown up in a world that is a bit more open-minded with the internet.
Yeah.
My generation, going back, we grew up with Star Wars. We grew up with NASA. Those, astronauts. Those were the big things. Those were programmed, movies with space. Those were the things we all grew up with. Everything was around that.
If any of your friends, instead of mocking you or insulting you, turned around and was started questioning it, would you have got angry, or would you have tried, or just been super open and chill to chat? Because you seem ridiculously relaxed right now, you've welcomed us into your house and everything. I don't know how people could have taken it in a negative way.
Because people don't even want to have the conversation.
But then they don't need to. I just don't chat about it. I never chat to my friends about how the earth is a ball.
That's a good point.
Never chat.
I used to say that.
I never bring that up to them.
That's what flat earthers say. When we go on Facebook and we post stuff, people come and attack you and you say, mate, I didn't force you to come here. Why are you getting upset with me? If you don't like what I'm saying, just ignore me, delete me, move on with your life. Why are you getting upset?
Yeah.
But people get so upset and they want to attack you. My family, a lot of them have disowned me. A lot of them don't want to have anything to do with me because they think I've gone crazy. Right? So a lot of them have gone, all right, you believe what you believe, but why are you talking about it? Why are you telling people about this? Just believe it quietly. And I was like, well, no. If there is something going on.
Family?
Yeah, close family. Yeah, my dad. I haven't spoken to my dad in over a year because of it.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Because as far as he's concerned, he was like, you go back to your career, go back to making money and, earning a future and do those things. Stop messing around with these crazy conspiracy theory things and YouTube and all this nonsense. Get a proper job. Fend for your family. You're going crazy. And I'm trying to explain to him that it's bigger than that, Dad. There's a lot more going on here. And I feel like I have a responsibility because I've looked into it, because I've done the research. I feel like I have a responsibility to share what I found.
One of the biggest questions for me for today, and I don't know whether now's the right time to answer it or after we've seen everything next door, or we could chat about it now and then chat about it at the end as well. When you're talking about people disclosing it, number one, again with the who, but number two is, what is the point in them lying? If the earth is flat, why do you believe that people have lied? Or for example, with the moon landing, what are NASA getting out of it by pretending?
So
What are they hiding?
So the first part of your question.
And I know this is a much bigger question than what I've just made it out to be, for sure. What is the point in them lying?
It's a great question. It's a question that's always asked, the question that I asked. The first thing to remember is, when a crime is committed, right, do we approach that crime by first asking, why would someone kill someone? Someone's been murdered. Do you approach the scene by saying, well, why would they kill them? Or do you approach the scene by saying, let's look at the evidence, let's look at the facts first,
Yeah.
and see if a crime has been committed,
Yeah.
right? Let's look at that first. And then after that, let's try and work out the motive. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, no, that's definitely fair to say.
Right? So that's the first part.
Yeah.
So I don't know why people would lie. I don't know why they lied about the moon landings. I can't say for a fact. I don't know why they're doing what they're doing. But what I do know is we were lied to about certain things. Right? And then after that, we can start theorizing. That's when it becomes a conspiracy theory.
Yeah.
So let's look at the facts first.
Yeah.
And then we add the conspiracy theory on top of the facts. You mentioned NASA. Do you know how much NASA makes in a day from taxpayers' money? You know how much they get?
How much?
53 million a day. Last year, NASA was given 20 billion just to exist, to show us pictures of space. You know, what are they doing with 20 billion a year?
We don't even get a selfie out of
We
it.
don't even get a selfie out of it. Brilliant point, right? So that's one. Money, power, control, right? If a handful of people know the secrets of the world, right, and the rest of the world is ignorant, knowledge is power. You have control over them because they don't know where they are, they don't know who they are, they don't know where they came from. You feed them lies, you can manipulate and control them. If you went to an Amazon jungle that's never left that part of the jungle, right, and you're an outsider and you get there, right, and you know the truth about the world, you could decide to control those people by lying to them and saying, oh, you know, I've come from another dimension, right? You are right. The only place that exists is this jungle that you're in. There's nothing else out there. But I've got some truths and some knowledge, and you could control those people, right? Because you know the knowledge about the rest of the world. They don't. You have children, you pass over those secrets to your children, right? You tell them, oh, hang on, you know how everyone believes that the jungle is the only place? Actually, it's not. There's a whole world out there. There are other races of beings. There are other civilizations, technologies, people, other worlds that are completely different to this little village we're in. But don't tell anyone, right? Once in a while, maybe we'll go out there, we'll bring in some technology and some stuff, and, you know, we'll wow everyone, and we'll keep them under control. And meanwhile, they'll keep voting for us and keep putting us in positions of power because we know the secrets and the truths. Right? Power, control, money, because you know the truths about everything and everyone else is ignorant. So we're all distracted by gadgets, right? By TV. We're all going to school, we're all chasing the carrot, we're all trying to make money, right? Those are all distractions. The elites, they don't do those things because they know the truths. They don't work hard like you and me, right? They own everything. Why? Because they've got the power. Why do they have the power? Because they have the knowledge. So when you have knowledge, you become powerful, right? Because you now understand where you are and where you came from. The more you question, the more answers you get, the more power. And I feel empowered. I feel a lot more empowered than I was 2 years ago.
Really?
Oh, absolutely. A lot more confident, a lot more empowered. Because at first it was scary. I'm not going to lie to you. It was confusing. It was scary. I was like, oh my God, like, you know, what is going on? It was really scary and really confusing. And I was upset. I got through a stage of being angry, of being upset, of being, you know. But eventually...
Did you ever want to just give up and just be like, what the heck am I doing?
A few times, yeah. A few times I thought, like, this is too much. Like, why am I doing this?
Yeah.
Like, am I ever going to find the answers? This is crazy. But luckily we're in the age of technology. If it wasn't for the internet, I would have given up. Because I would have been like, I'm never going to find the answers. But we live in the age of technology, right? If you want to know the answer to anything, you just Google it, right? You go to the
But you don't trust any of that. So you Google it to...
Well, the internet is an open platform.
Yeah.
So yes, a lot of those things are run by the control system, but the information on the internet is public domain. So you put up videos on YouTube. Your videos aren't owned by YouTube. You're not being controlled by YouTube or anyone, right?
Maybe.
Yeah, no, you're not. I hope you're not. So it's public, it's public information.
Yeah.
All right. So people put things up publicly. Flat Earth is not a new thing, by the way. They've been flat earthers for hundreds of years.
Yeah.
Right. The only difference is, before the internet, if I'd become a flat earther, the only people I would have been able to tell are the people at the pub and the people around me. No one else. Right. So that information wouldn't have grown.
Yeah.
It would have stayed within little pockets of people all over the world. But now, because of the internet, I can make a video, I can do some research, I can find a book from the 1800s about flat Earth, I can do an audiobook, put it on the internet, and 1 million people can read it. So 1 million people all of a sudden are going, whoa, it could be flat, and they're researching it.
Yeah.
Right? And then they do their own research, and then they post something up, and that's another 1 million people. And it grows, and it grows, and it grows. So I'm not saying all the 1 million people will go, oh yeah, I believe it. But even if 10 go, oh, I'm going to look into this, that's 10 people researching it.
Yeah.
10 people are going to share it. And it just grows and grows and grows. A lot to take in, I know.
A lot to take in. Especially when we first got in touch, it was just straight the moon landing. I saw one thing that stood out, and I know nothing about it at all, which is the global hoax. What's that? What is the global hoax? I saw something about climate change not being real. I saw something about... I've even seen flat earthers saying things like the Queen's a lizard.
Yeah.
I've seen people saying that people live inside the moon.
Yeah.
What's the global hoax to you?
So, there are two things we always have to separate when looking at this. There's the factual side, the scientific factual side of the debate, if you like. The flat earth debate, the moon landing debate. There are facts that we can discern and we can research. And that becomes factual research. And then there's the other scale of the side, which is the theory that you add on top of the facts. Right? So I always begin, and especially with beginners, I try and stick to the facts first. Right? Forget the conspiracy theories that we think the Queen is a lizard and there are people living on the moon and I think those are theories. Right? Let's forget that. Let's stick to the facts. The scientific evidence. And then after that, if we want, we can go off in different directions and add our theories to the facts.
And you've got lots of different theories around the flat earth than other flat earthers also believe.
Absolutely.
So do you ever sit down with other flat earthers and have a debate and they're like, no, you can fall off the edge, and you're like, no, you can't fall off the edge?
Absolutely. So a lot of people don't know this, but even within the flat earth, there's a lot of disagreement.
Because you spoke at a convention.
I did, yeah.
But what if you stand up at the flat earth convention?
And I was attacked by a lot of flat earthers.
Yeah, and you say something that another flat earther doesn't believe in.
But for me, personally, there's only so far you can go with the facts, because I don't have the resources. I don't have 53 million a day to go and explore all these things. So I've got to put theories to try and answer some of the questions that don't make sense. So people say, oh, you flat earther, where's the edge? I don't know. Because I don't have the means to go and explore the edge.
Would you, if you could?
Of course I would.
So if I gave you £100 million today...
man, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it tomorrow.
Do you think you could prove that the earth
Of course we can.
is flat?
But here's another thing. We're not allowed to.
Why not?
Right?
Well, just go to the edge, like the Truman Show.
We're not allowed to. There's something called the Antarctic Treaty.
Yeah.
So on the flat earth model, just like the UN logo, which I'll show you in a minute with the model, the South Pole is a ring of ice that is encircling the plane of the earth. That's holding all the water and everything together. Right? So a lot of flat earthers say that is the edge of the earth. We can't get past that wall. The wall is keeping us in here.
Yeah.
Right? And to me that doesn't make sense. Like, so what's beyond the edge? Oh, we don't know. Don't worry about that. Let's just stick to what we can prove. And I said, well, we've got to be able to answer that question at least, even if it's a theory.
Yeah.
So to me it makes sense that there's possibly more land beyond that. Other civilizations. What we might call extraterrestrials. Extraterranes of land.
So more land past the edge?
Past the edge. There's more land. Who's to say that the flat earth isn't infinite? When people say to me, show me the edge of the flat earth, I say, show me the edge of the universe. Why are you assuming there is an edge? What if the flat earth goes forever? I don't know.
Yeah.
Right? So that's my theory, that I don't think there is an edge. I think it goes on for a long, long way out. Right? And there's something called the Antarctic Treaty. So the Antarctic would be the ice wall.
I've heard a little bit about this, where you can't fly over it or something.
We're not allowed to go there. No one is allowed to go there. You need a permit from the UN if you want to go explore the Antarctic.
And what's the reason for that? But is that for...
Protecting the penguins, maybe?
Yeah, no, I'm serious. Is it that?
I don't know.
Or is it protecting, like oil?
Maybe. I think it's stopping people from going beyond and discovering what's beyond.
So what would happen now if I just flew? Because like my friend circumnavigated the world in his plane. He bought a plane. If he just flew there, what would happen? Shot down?
You would be stopped by the UN. Yeah.
What, in the air?
I don't know, but they would stop him. They would stop him, definitely. That's what the Antarctic Treaty is for. You need a permit to go and explore the Antarctica. You are not allowed to go there, and that's something that was signed. I think it was signed in the 1950s. By every country on earth. Russia, the UK, is the only treaty that every country on earth has signed and agreed on. Why? Because they are the gatekeepers. They are guarding us in here. And you're not allowed to go and see what's beyond there. There are people.
I feel like that's like... I feel like we need to go and see the room next door.
Let's do it.
Yeah?
Let's do it.
There's lots to take in.
Obviously, I've never seen a world looking like this before.
No. So not only do I think there's more land on the outside, I think there's more land on the inside, in the North Pole. I think there's a continent in the North Pole. The ball Earth is hollow, and inside this ball is a civilization. This is
Oh, sorry, this is us. This is the Earth in here.
Yeah, where
this
we
is
are.
us. What's this bit?
What I'm feeling right now is like we're describing some like game of Warhammer or
Something like this.
They're
Like,
all- they're
I
all-
don't mean to be
You're
insulting.
right.
It's hard to accept this is what we're actually talking about is the world.
I know.